Hello and welcome to another Win Daily Show. My name is Michael Rasile. I got my man Mitchell Thoennes here with me, and we are looking ahead to the 8/21 Friday NBA DFS slate. We got a nice 4-gamer ahead of us, but Mitchell, first, how you doing today, man?
We're good. The Wolves just won the lottery, so things are looking up here.
Yeah, Mitchell is our resident Minnesotan, I guess. Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Minnesota?
yeah.
Minnesotan. So he's hanging out there with the Wolves and little D'Angelo Russell. We'll see how that one goes. But yeah, man, congratulations. Who do you want them to take with the first pick?
I'm hoping for Anthony Edwards, but hopefully not LaMelo. I don't want all that
That
drama up here.
yeah, that Ball family. That's a whole nother conversation. I don't want to dive too deep
Right.
into that one. But we are here to talk about the 4-game NBA slate. We got Toronto and Brooklyn. We got the Denver Nuggets and the Utah Jazz. We got Boston against Philly, which hopefully that series is going to end pretty soon because it's been ugly. And we have the Clippers and Dallas to round it out, which is been my favorite series so far. So yeah, man, let's screw it. Let's just hop right into it. Let's see what we got tonight. Let me figure this screen out. So let us just start. We'll just go game by game. Start with the Toronto Brooklyn game. I think it's been a lot closer than people think, only because I think people have been assuming Toronto's just going to blow the doors off every night. Brooklyn's been respectable, I guess. Joe Harris did just leave the bubble, so it doesn't sound like he's going to be here for the rest of the series. We got this game starting at 1:30 East Coast time with Toronto favored by 9.5, 10.5 in certain places, 10 in others, and you can also get that over under at 223. So it's actually the second highest over under on the slate. Mitchell, how are you looking at this game? Who are some of these guys that you're paying a little attention to try and make sure you're stacking a couple lineups here?
Yeah. Brooklyn's obviously. I mean, they're without everybody pretty much at this
Pretty
point.
much.
They're rolling out Levert and kind of a bunch of scrubs and a couple players they even signed while we were away, I think.
Love it.
So they got some nice value plays. Brooklyn does for sure. At this point, Toronto's really got nobody else to guard except for Karis LeVert, so I think
Mm-hmm.
they're just gonna make him get rid of the ball, and I'm gonna probably avoid Karis. So for Brooklyn, it'd be like Lawawu Cabarro at
Mm,
46. He's been getting some run regardless of Joe Harris being out, and I think that just solidifies his minutes here now.
mm-hmm.
And then Garrett Temple at 51. Uh, Basically, him and Joe Harris play the same spot. Uh, Flip it on. That's pretty much it for them. Toronto's pretty solid defensive team, especially
Mm-hmm.
at guard. So, and then flipping to Toronto, Van Vliet, man, I don't know what it is about him in the playoffs, but he
Monster.
just shows up and plays.
I love him.
Uh,
He seems kind of underpriced at 7,600, right?
yeah, he's had both games were close to 50-point games, I believe. I think
All
his
right.
last game was 48 or 49.
I'll
He
take that.
scored.
That's smashing some value right there.
Yeah,
Not
and
angry
his
about that.
price hasn't gone up.
Makes no sense to me,
And
man. Well, anyone else from Toronto?
Surge is one of my guys. 5,300. Brooklyn's in the bubble in the last 10 games. Brooklyn's given up the most fantasy points to centers, and Surge at 53. I hope everybody sees his last game, only 19.
Mm-hmm.
2 games before that, he only played 25 and 26 minutes against Memphis and Brooklyn, and he scored 43 and 37, 7,
Ooh,
5. So I'll be looking to target Surge at center. And
I
then one
like that.
more for Toronto, Norman Powell, 4,300. He's basically their sixth man. 32 minutes last game. He really doesn't score under 20, and at 4,300, he's probably a pretty safe play here against Brooklyn, a faster
I like
paced
that.
team as well.
I like that. I like that a lot. I mean, Fred VanVleet, I think, obviously he's just been crushing it, especially in the actual playoffs. It's been so much fun to watch. That Serge Ibaka stat is fantastic. And as you said, we're kind of hoping everyone's off him because he only scored 19, 18 points, whatever it was last time. So hopefully ownership drops a little bit and we can all take advantage of, again, it's sticking to the process. It's staying disciplined. Just because something didn't work one time doesn't mean you stop going back to the well. You have to really let it burn you a few times before
Right.
we really hop off that train, and we'll keep riding that Serge Ibaka train. So I love it, man. This is good stuff. So let's hop over to another pretty exciting series. I don't know why this is always
Yeah.
the 4 o'clock game. I mean, I'm cool with it because I work from home anyway, so I'm just watching NBA basketball pretty much all day. So it's been working for me. But we have the Denver Nuggets against the Utah Jazz. Denver is favored by 1.5 points. So that margin has been shrinking and shrinking these last few games with an over-under of 220 in favor. Looks like juices. Nope, I got new juice. Never mind. It's it looks good. Looks pretty solid. Looks like pretty pick 'em on the over under there. So talk to me, man. I mean, Donovan Mitchell has just been absolutely doing his thing. Jokic is doing his thing, and Jamal Murray has been showing out a little bit too. And for some reason, his price is crazy low. How hard are you going to try and just stack this game as a whole?
Yeah, I mean they went into overtime first game, and last game Utah kind of put it on them in the second half, and I think Jokic was on his way to probably 65, 70 point game, and he sat almost half the fourth quarter.
Half the
So
whole. I like that. That's good.
yeah,
That's
I
English
was
there
like,
for you, buddy. That's
I was like,
English.
yeah, I was like,
Wait a
damn.
second.
No, but I think Mitchell and Jokic are pretty fairly priced. I wouldn't say they're a necessity. They're right around where they should be right now. Jokic, obviously, Gobert defense. Obviously, Jokic has been doing decent against Gobert, but let's not forget it's still Rudy Gobert, Defensive Player of the Year. So I think them two are pretty fair priced. Go down to Gobert 7,400. Jokic just kind of keeps them limited because Gobert just is playing a lot of defense. His rebounds, he hasn't had double-digit rebounds yet this series with Jokic in there. So I think Gobert's fairly priced. He's not gonna mess up your lineup, but he's not gonna hit the home run for you either. Jamal Murray is probably the first guy I'm interested in here from Denver at 7,000, just because obviously we just saw his ceiling game, and 7K is not priced enough for his ceiling. So I like that. Mike Conley's going to be back here, so that kind of limits Clarkson and Ingles for me at 5,500 and 5,700. Michael Porter Jr. would be another guy I'm interested in at 6,700. I mean, if his three's falling, he's gonna score 40. We've seen his upsides above 50. His rebounds have been there. He's got some double-digit rebounds, so he's not just scoring. So that's another guy I'd like to target from this game. And then Jeremy Grant has been getting run over Paul Millsap, 40 minutes, 27 minutes at 4,500. I don't mind him for some salary relief. But that should sum it up for this game.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
If you want one
note, keep going.
A cheap center maybe would be Mason Plumlee if you're really trying to get some studs in and want a cheap guy. Because there really ain't too cheap of players that you're gonna be able to play and actually expect value from below 4K at this point.
So you're not really on anyone from the Utah. I mean, again, as you said, you can play Donovan Mitchell. You're obviously not going against Donovan Mitchell, but it seems like most of the value from, I mean, a lot of value on the slate could potentially be coming from this Denver side of the game. I mean, I think it makes sense. We've seen these games be pretty tight. Obviously, the last one didn't go, or the first one was incredible. The second one started to get out of hand, as you said, in the second half, but still putting up points, still doing their thing, which is important. And I agree. Hopefully these games are a little tighter so we get a little bit more run from these guys. But yeah, I mean, I think, as you said, you can play Donovan Mitchell. I don't think that's ever going to be a problem. He's adequately priced, but watch out. That's going to limit your lineup. But then if you want to grab some of that value, go hop down to my boy Mason Plumlee from Duke. You could grab a couple of those extra dudes. So I like that. And then one little note on Jeremy Grant. I'm really crossing my fingers I might get the opportunity to interview him over the next couple of weeks because he's doing some incredible stuff for social justice, which I think is fantastic. So there, cross your fingers for me, Mitchell. Cross your fingers for me. We might get some good stuff there.
That'd be awesome.
It would be pretty cool. I'm not angry about it. I'm doing my best. Believe me. So this should be a fun game. I'm glad this is kind of like the I don't really watch the 1:30 games too much. This is when I really start actually paying attention to games. I don't have them on mute anymore. I actually like watch instead of do work. So sorry, Jay, but it's exactly it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really enjoying this series. So hopefully it sticks the way it does. And to the next game, the Boston Philly game. So this has been a weird series so far. We've seen it be kind of tight at times and then definitely not tight at all. I think the Sixers were up like double digits yesterday or when they played on Wednesday, and then
Yeah.
they got blown out, and it's just very confusing. I mean, their team is just a mess. Like, I don't think Brett Brown is long for the coaching job here. But in terms of what Vegas thinks of this game, we have Boston favored only by 4.5. So I think a lot of people are going to be on that 4.5. So watch out there. And the over under at 216. That's the game total. So looking at this game again, the first game was much tighter than people thought. The second game kind of turned into a little bit of a blowout. Like, how do you think this third game is going to go? Do you think it's going to be one of those tighter battles, or do you think Philly pretty much just gave up being down 2-0?
I don't know if they. I don't think they gave up. I think Embiid still is trying to show that they can do it
Mhm.
without Ben Simmons. To be
Whoops.
honest, because
Not working
the
very well, is it?
yeah, I mean they're kind of spat and how that
Mhm.
whole deal went down. But I like a lot of guys from this game. I
Mhm.
think it's a must win for Philly
Mhm.
and Gordon Hayward being out.
Yep.
Not
Unfortunately,
with
that
the
sucks,
with
man.
right, but with the blowout last game, a lot of these more expensive Boston players also only played 30 minutes when if in a tight game they're probably going to play 38.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I I also like a lot of Boston players here. I like Jaylen Brown with Hayward out. I think his ceiling's well above 40 with at this price with Gordon Hayward out. Tobias at 7,500. I don't mind him. Tatum, if he's going to keep shooting the ball 20, 25 times in the playoffs without Gordon Hayward,
Mhm.
how do you say no?
Exactly.
And Embiid, they've been doing a really good job on Embiid. It's hard for me to pay that much for him.
Mhm.
They've been
Almost
pretty much
10K, yeah.
anytime he gets the ball in the post or on the block, he's getting doubled or somebody's coming down, and so I'll Embiid is probably my stay away. I just like that last game too much and the studs that are in it.
Mhm.
But Kemba, I like Kemba 6,600. Al Horford is one I'm staying away for Philly. Smart 5,400, I believe, got the start last game for the injured
Mm.
Gordon Hayward,
There we go.
so that ain't too bad. And then Josh Richardson 4,800. His price went down. Only played 29 minutes last game. Still scored 26.75
There we
fantasy
go.
points. Obviously, with the game blowout,
Yeah.
he played limited minutes at 4,800. His price went down. I like him as well.
I love it. That's a pretty solid. Got a couple Boston players, got a couple Philly players, and everybody, all our Philadelphia fans out there, never ever forget that the Sixers paid Tobias Harris and not Jimmy Butler, and we're watching him do his thing right now. Mitchell's probably a little pissed off about that too, because Jimmy Butler weaseled his
Yeah,
way from Minnesota to Philly. But you got you got the first overall pick. Hopefully that does
yeah.
something for you. So this game should be fun. I mean, I think Philly does come out with a win. I think it's going to be weird. I think it's going to be a lot tighter than the second game. I think it's going to be closer to that first one, which was pretty much down to the wire. Thankfully, I know in the fourth quarter they had to really do. Boston had to hit some free throws to put it away, but I do think Philly comes out. I do think they have the opportunity to win. I mean, I definitely think they cover that 4.5 point spread. If that's, it seems like. Vegas is going to want a lot of people. I mean, in other places you can get the spread at 5, and in other places you can get it at 5.5. So if you can find a 4.5, I would take Philly
Yeah.
on the. Well, I mean, if you can find the 5.5, I would take Philly on the plus 5.5. No questions asked, because I do think they come away winning this game. So we'll see what happens there. Should be a lot of fun. But let's
I do
move
have
on.
one more.
Yo, talk
This
to me, buddy.
turn and play only.
Okay.
It's another cheap one below 4K. Ennis Cantor at 3,700. Daniel Tice only got 12 minutes last game against the
Hmm.
Sixers, and Cantor played, I believe, 21, 22, and scored 23 fantasy points, one rebound away from a double double.
I
So
was gonna say, yeah, he was like 10 and 9, right? Not too bad.
yeah, for a tournament play, if he's gonna end up playing instead of Tice,
Take the savings. That's the thing. When you're
yeah,
when you're paying for someone at 3,700, you multiply that at 3.7 by 5, and that's like really what you're trying to hit. So really all you need him to do is score 17, 18 points, and that hits
right.
value for you. If he hits anything above that, you're on fire and you're looking good. And that way you get that salary savings to pay up for someone like Jason Tatum if you'd like. So that's where really, when we talk about value, that's really what we're talking about is you take that 3.7, multiply it by 5. If they can hit that, you are sitting pretty. Anything above that, you are happy, especially with these guys down
Right.
so low at like 37. You're talking about Mason Plumlee in the last game at 30 some what was he?
33. Yeah.
33 exactly. So if he can hit 15, 16 points, you hit value, and now you're able to do like the rest of your team has all that opportunity to use that salary and really crush it there. And anything above that, it's a good game. So let's look at this last game. This has been such a fun series. I've been enjoying the hell out of it. I
Yes.
hated that Kristaps Porzingis call. That was complete and utter bull crap, but it is what it
That
is. We move forward.
that
I mean,
actually
letter of the law, whatever. How did you feel about it? Talk to me. Me and Jay had a little
that
fight about it the
actually
other day.
that actually that screwed me hard
It
that
screwed a
night,
lot of people.
actually.
Yeah.
Like, I was looking really good that night. I think I finished right around the top 500 in the big league with him getting ejected in the big
Wow.
DraftKings tournament.
My
Yeah.
goodness. Well, would have been a
Yeah,
better night, but
I was pretty upset about it.
yeah, Jay
But
and I had a little spat about it. He's like, "Well, the technically, like when you punch in the air, it's a this, and then you shouldn't." It's like, come on, dude, it's the playoffs.
right,
This isn't a game in the middle of February that no one cares about. And even then, how often do they
right.
call traveling in the NBA? Like, don't give me this shit about it's the letter of the law. All right, dude. Well, this is like the most liberal sport next to soccer, where they pretty much don't care what anything happens in soccer. Like, don't give me that. That's
Right.
ridiculous. But I don't know, man. I think Dallas would be up 2-0 right now if he didn't get shut out, if he didn't get ejected.
Yeah,
But it's been a fun
actually.
series. I want it to go 7 because I love watching Luka versus Kawhi and Paul George. It has just been so much fun. So let's talk about this from a DFS perspective. I mean, obviously Luka is Luka. He got into a ridiculous amount of foul trouble, so he barely played the fourth quarter. They still pulled
Yeah.
away, which I thought was impressive. So he wasn't quite as great as we were hoping, but I called him one of my stars of the night, unfortunately. But you can't go wrong. This guy is triple-double just walking and is absolutely
Right.
impressive. Kawhi Leonard has been absolutely fantastic. KP has been knocking down threes. He's looked great. Paul George, outside of yesterday, he's been fantastic in the bubble. So I guess talk to me about these top few guys here, those top 4 that we all know and love so much. How are you feeling about them, and who are you really trying to play in these lineups?
Yeah. He's just too good of a price here. It doesn't
He's at a
whatever
good price.
defense. Yeah. At
I
10-8.
love it.
He's like you said, he's a pretty much triple double machine. He's gonna at least get close every night.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't just score. He does everything, gets the peripheral stats that you look for, and also has 35% usage. You can't really ask for much more. So I like Luka at 10-8. Like you said, foul trouble last game, and he still scored 50 some fantasy points.
Mm-hmm.
I think 50 even.
Look at that.
So, and then Kawhi, I like him. Kawhi's almost a little bit like LeBron. There's a LeBron, regular season LeBron, and then playoffs come, and there's a playoff LeBron. We saw that last game. His LeBron just flipped it on last game. They still lost, but he went for his triple-double.
Yeah, he went for his triple-double, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron went for his playoff triple-double, not a big deal. It just kind of
Yeah.
happens, you know how it goes. But no, dude, it's awesome. The same thing with Kawhi. You're right. Like, you just kind of look up and you're like, oh, Kawhi's got 29 points in the beginning of the fourth quarter. All right, that sounds like a game. Good job. Keep it going, bud. So, and he had that monster dunk too, which was pretty sweet. But that's just for fun.
Yeah, he's going to get you 50, and he can easily get you more. He's guarded by Finney Smith or Tim Hardaway, and I'll take that every time he plays. So I do like Kawhi, and then Porzingis is the next. So actually, in order for me in this game, it's Kawhi, Luka, Porzingis.
Okay.
Excuse me. And Porzingis, I believe the Clippers' worst defensive position is against center, and Porzingis sit down at 8,500. He can easily score 50. He's been shooting the ball a lot more since we come back. Porzingis, again, is one of my favorite plays. I think he was last time I was on, too.
It might have been, I think. What about, I just got to ask, we're talking about centers, man. Talk to me about Boban. I mean, first off, the guy's hysterical. Second off, I mean, he looked pretty good yesterday. Like, he did his thing. It was pretty impressive.
He's unreal. He's just a fantasy point machine. It just doesn't even 10 minutes and he scores 25 fantasy points. It's like, what?
Love it. Yeah, we can't bank on that every time, but I mean, if it's possible, I
No,
mean, but when KP went out, he looked pretty good. He was in there doing his thing. He was I think Shaq said, skyhook his ass to death, if I'm not mistaken, at halftime of the game a couple nights ago, which is awesome. But no, man, he is just such a character too, which is always fun. It's nice to always see that. But maybe again, that's a GPP play, that's a
yeah,
salary saver play. But as you said, KP is probably the way to go here. Especially if you're trying to stack a lot in this game.
yeah, for sure. I don't know cheaper guys here. Let's see. Hardaway's. I don't mind Hardaway or Williams at 56 and 52.
Mhm.
Williams, I believe Patrick Beverley's doubtful again, so Lou should see
Yep.
about 30 minutes. And then Reggie Jackson is priced at 3,500. Also saw 26 minutes last game with Patrick Beverley out. So there's another cheap guy, salary saver, under 4K to try to get some of these studs, Luka, Kawhi, and
Mhm.
Tatum, whoever you want to get in. And I think Reggie is one of your safer bets, safer plays
Mhm.
as far as a cheap play, just because his minutes are kind of solidified at. He's probably going to see 25 minutes with Patrick Beverley out, so I think he's your safest option as far as the
How
cheap plays.
how about Marcus Morris? He's looked pretty good,
Yeah,
specifically in this series, right? Like he's actually
shooting.
looked pretty darn good.
Yeah, 37, 31 fantasy points. His minutes have been there,
Mhm.
above
And
30
at
minutes in both games. I really
5K.
like. I can't really argue against anybody in this game to be like you can make your case to me
Yep.
pretty much from anybody in this game. I mean, and it's the highest total game, obviously, but
Mhm.
it's with it's just I don't there's too much goodness.
Too much goodness. I love that. And that's always we talk about the over unders, we talk about the game totals because we listen to Vegas, man. Vegas knows so much more. We like to think we know what the hell we're talking about,
Right.
but we really lean on Vegas for a lot of this stuff because again, if there's a game like the Brooklyn Raptors game that's a spread of 11, Vegas think that game's going to be a blowout. Now whether it is or it isn't, you have to take that information into account because that means starters might not play as long. A game like this where the over under is the highest on the slate and I think what did I say? It's 232. That's not a bad
Yeah.
over under. That's a pretty fun
No.
one. I need or 233. I mean, it's not like we were it's not like that Rockets who the hell? I think it was Rockets Clippers was like 246 or something earlier in the
Yeah.
bubble. That was a joke or Mavs Clippers, whatever it was. That one was a lot of fun. But if you pay attention to that stuff, that usually means Vegas thinks there's going to be more scoring. More scoring means more opportunities for these guys, which means more points to be had. So we went over all these games and we appreciate the hell out of you, Mitchell. But before we go, we need your 3 stars of the night. Give me two studs and then give me a nice little value play that you want to sprinkle in there for the people. How's that sound?
All right, we can do that.
Okay.
My like a Kawhi is probably my
Okay.
number one, just because I think he's got one of the more favorable matchups, and he's gonna score. It's so hard for Kawhi not to hit value at 9,600. I mean, we just see
Mhm.
what he does in the playoffs. He scores 30 points almost every night, and obviously the highest total on the slate. I think he's either had a double double or been close both games. He's had a double double both games, so he's had double digit rebounds in both games. So that's my number one play, and then scrolling down, number two is Porzingis. Like I said, the Clippers' worst defensive position is centers. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna keep testing my luck with Porzingis. Let's hope he doesn't get in a scrap again.
I like that. A little scrap. Yeah, right. That was such a scrap too. God damn it.
And then it's not too much of a value, but I can't really not say him at 5,300. My center Serge Ibaka.
I love it. You're going to is KP. Well, we can play KP at power forward, right?
Yeah, you should. Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah, let's get KP at power forward. We'll put Surge at
Oh
center
no, you
here. So
can't.
no, it's
Porzingis is
KP.
just center
Oh,
too. Wow, DraftKings really
they're
cracked
getting
down.
I'm gonna have to ask for another play, man. We can't give the people two centers. That's
Yeah, no, you're
I
good.
like
You're
it. I
good.
like the surge. I know
No,
you were
yeah,
all
yeah, for
on that.
sure,
You
for
told
sure.
us. You told us. We were listening, but you gotta give me another value play, man. I can't give the people two centers. Let's play one of them. I'm all for it, but
I will go value play. I'll go the last guy I said, Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson, all the way down, what, 35, right?
35,
Looks like
yeah.
he's gonna get some minutes. It looks like Pat Bev's gonna be out again, so there's some value there. There's some fun there. If you just start these three guys, you still have a little room to play with. You can even then, as we said, you can go down if you really want to grab some of those other value guys that we spoke about, especially in this Dallas and Clippers game where it's going to be very high scoring. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to stay up and I'm going to watch the whole gosh darn thing. So, Mitchell, we appreciate the hell out of you tonight, man. Thank you so much. Where can everyone find you on the internet?
Twitter at Mitchell101, THOENN1, and then Instagram is just Mitchell Tennis, THOENNES, and then in the Discord at BombCarlo15.
All over that NBA and MLB Discord. You can find me at Michael Rasile1. You can find us at Win Daily Sports. And please don't forget, at windailysports.com/learn daily. We are crushing it in DFS. We are crushing it in sports betting. We have all the tools. We have the optimizer, the projections, the articles, and that expert chat where you get to talk to us and sweat it all out with us. What's more fun than sweating out a bet with some of your friends? We're all on the same side here, man. We're all trying to win together. Let's beat those books. So thank you, Mitchell. Thank everybody at Win Daily Sports, and thank you all for watching. We hope you make it a very profitable evening.